Hey guys, it is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and it is Tuesday. Tuesday is our day for Tuesday tips, techniques, and teachings. And because of many reasons probably, and that I ended up doing a live yesterday and showing you a couple projects. They're behind me somewhere. They're there. Thought I would just do tonight as a Q&A, giving you a chance to ask any odd questions you might have. I'm going to wait until I see us pop up on my screen before I start answering any of these. Hello, hello. From freezing Ohio, it's a little chilly in Illinois too. I did not exactly enjoy going out and about today. I found us. There we go. Pull this up. I want to make sure I can see comments and all. I spent today, some of you may have seen, but when I was in Texas over the weekend, I did a live when I was there, and I said I would have a free tracer for some spring flowers. Well, those were really just the beginning of a thought, and so I finally had an opportunity today to finish the little project completely, and so that will be the tracer, and I've had quite the fun getting it to upload onto my for a constant contact landing page. So as soon as I get that ready, it'll be ready to go. So if you ask for it on Saturday and haven't seen me come up with the tracer yet, that is why I just actually truly did it today. So you can also put down in this link, I'll come back here if you would like the tracer, just put tracer, spring flower, flowers, whatever, something, and I can send you a link to get a free tracer. Turned out kind of cute. I decided to add the little bird. I thought he was sweet. 15 below. Wendy, where are you? Oh my goodness. That's just, yeah, no. I'm a North Dakota girl. I know what cold is, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting too old. I see lots of people want the tracers. Okay, so know that what I will do is I'll come back and add a link to it. And I'll try to do it underneath your name too, but what I'll do is make a comment for it too, so you might need to come back and search through comments. We'll see how all this goes. So if there's any questions you have, I've got a few of people who have some, Minnesota, yeah, that explains a lot. Minnesota is known for being a little on the chilly side. Yeah. But if you guys do have any questions, I'm going to try to watch for them here too. I've got a couple already that people have asked me, and I've got a couple that are kind of like standard ones that are a little squirrely that keep coming up, so thought I would go with that. And as always, I do try to watch, but because I'm human, I do go back through. So if I happen to miss a question and don't answer it, please know I will go back and answer you. I see lots of tracers. Okay, we'll do the tracer. It turned out to be really kind of a fun little piece. I do like him a lot. Spring little tracer, then the cute little birdie. Sweet, sweet. Tweet, tweet. Sweet, sweet. Okay. The first question I have to share with you came from Becky. Becky's actually watching. And Becky's question was, do I spray with varnish all of my paintings and books, woods, and canvas? I do not use a lot of spray varnish. I do use varnish. Actually, my go-to is a polyacrylic by Varathane. And I was going to run out in the garage and grab that, and I just slipped my mind. But you can find it at most any hardware store. But all the craft brands have good varnishes too. And you're going to see a variety of finishes. Matte being very no shine at all. Satin usually has a little bit of a shine, and then a gloss. I tend to use satin on most everything. I don't like a lot of shine. There are always exceptions to every rule, of course. That being, if there's a piece that just, you just need that pop of that shininess, that's where you would use the gloss. Now, if I've used certain types of pens in my painting, like if I'm doing some detailing, I will often mist a spray varnish, and that may be all I need, or I might choose to go ahead and do that first and then go back and do another coat of a brush on varnish. Whenever I use a pen, I like to test it with a mist of spray first, especially if it's a new one. I know that my Micron Pigma pens do not bleed. It has been, I think I've had one time, and I know it was because I tried to varnish it when it was too wet. Now, Posca pens are supposed to be permanent, but I have had them bleed. So I almost always, if I'm using a Posca pen for detail work or such, I will mist them, if not just spray them. Now, here's the thing. Acrylic paint actually does have a built-in sealer somewhat with it. And if you've ever gotten paint on your clothes, you know it's pretty hard to get out. So there is some stability. I could take something like, the piece I just did, and if I was just going to hang this on a wall, I probably would not have to varnish it. That varnishing to me helps pop the colors a little bit, and by that I don't mean makes it shiny. I just feel like it intensifies the color a little bit. It's a very personal preference. I'm looking at my Be a Honey and Share sign that doesn't have varnish on it. Well, it's not going to get used. It's just going to get extra paint put on it because it's too close to my painting. But there are those exceptions. My cards that I do, even if I'm using just thin down acrylic paint or straight acrylic paint, I don't put any sealer on those. Could I? You can. If you'd like something with a little more of a sheen, you certainly could use that, a bit of a varnish. I hope that answers that for you. What kind of varnish do I use? It just said that I said my go-to is a polyacrylic that is made by Varathane, but there are all sorts of them out there. This happens to be one by Decor, but if you happen to use folk art paint or anything else, you'll have them. I do use some fusion paint, and fusion paint has a very good sealer built into it. And I do that a lot with my furniture painting. But if I have something that needs to be protected, a dining room table, let's say I paint a dining room table, I'm going to use theirs is called Clear Tough Coat, and it is very good. The other thing I really like about this particular product is it does not yellow. Whites can be a challenge, and if you use something like a spar, which is an outdoor varnish, whites can yellow quite easily. That's fine, Nancy. Hey, that's why we're here. But anyone else has questions, let me know. The flower with the little birdie. Hey, Judith, yes, if you want that, I just finished the tracer. I actually did a video and said I would have it out, but you know what, sometimes from warm California, I don't know. And there's another question. If you have rethought your storage and essential art supplies in your new studio, well, I'm going to try to turn you this way. That is how all my stencils, my majority of my stencils get stored. It is an old drafting cabinet, and then up there, you should be able to see, hopefully. I can't see what you guys can see. Let me see if I'm doing it right. Yeah, further. Hang on, give me a sec. Oh, we're just like there. So we can kind of catch on the edge there. I have a bunch of mine that hang too. So, there we go. And as far as the rest of the storage and stuff, a lot of it, I have shelves all along the wall, so a lot of it stayed there, but all the cabinets behind me have very quickly gotten filled with things, very quickly. All right, I think we have talked about the varnish. I'm going to go ahead and give you the next question that was asked, and this actually came from Lolly, and she said, what brand of acrylic paint do you use and why? All right, first of all, like everything, it's a personal preference. I have worked with DecoArt paint for well over 20 years. I actually met my husband through DecoArt paint. We met some 29 years ago through DecoArt paint. So why do I like it? I find DecoArt to be a very good quality, very consistent. The colors are consistent. Their consistency is consistent. It's a good paint. It's not too thin or too runny, and the coverage is good. That being said, any brand has certain colors that are going to be a little less opaque. The pigments that they're able to use sometimes change, and you just have colors that are lighter. I mean, reds can be very transparent. When you find one you like, you like. Folk art is a very good color. I worked with them. I worked as a publishing artist for a long time, the first time I did all of this. And I worked with a lot of the paints. I worked with Delta. I worked with Decor. Worked with folk art. I worked with some different glass paints. I helped with the development of permanenamel, which no longer exists, but that was like one of the very first crafty enamel paints. Now you can also do tube acrylic paints, and those can be from Liquitex. They can be from private brands like, oh shoot, what is Hobby Lobby's? Master Touch, I think? First marriage web decor. No, we should talk. We should talk. Master Touch, I think, is the brand that is a tube paint from Hobby Lobby. They're a little thicker. They can have a little more pigmentation to some of the colors, and you just have to decide what you're using it for. In the majority of, what I'm going to call crafty projects, I'm going to be using Decor paint. I like it. It works. You kind of have to feel your own preference. Now, like, I know that there are some areas that it's hard to find paints. Let's say they don't have a Michaels or a Hobby Lobby, and they do have a, help me, Walmart. Apple Barrel is a lower quality paint of folk art. It's still good. Thank you. The Master Touch is it's still a good paint, but it's just tends to be a little lesser quality of the binder that they use and of the pigments that they use. But you use what you got to use. You make it work too. There was a point in time that there was a real push to just really push using, the basic colors and then mix your own. And I love to mix paint, but I'm also not afraid to say that it's great that I can pick up saffron yellow, and I know every time I use it, it's this vibrant yellow that is different than a primary yellow, and that I don't have to mix it. And so that's kind of a thing too. You can get by with red, blue, yellow, white, and black. You truly can. And when I have done paint kits, there's been a lot of times that I have done that and then just shown how to mix other colors that might be needed. So I hope that helps, Lolly. Next one that I had was where to buy quality brushes. Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record today. My quality and your quality might be very different. I have said this before, and in fact I said it last week when I did our live, that if I can find a brush that works well, does what I need it to do, and holds up well, and is of a decent price point, that's probably going to be my first recommendation to you. Are there better brushes? Probably. Are there lesser brushes? Yes, probably. I tend to not buy packs of brushes that look like they have all different kinds of things. I see them a lot. And, in your Hobby Lobbies, your Michaels and whatnot, and there's nothing wrong with them. I do buy brushes in mass quantities at times, like for my paint parties, because I go through them. I have a slightly different philosophy with brushes at my paint parties. I want them to use brushes that I would use. So I tend to replace my brushes quite often. Now that doesn't mean that everybody has perfectly new brushes. Where do you buy a rake brush? The rake or the whisk brushes that I use, I buy from Amazon. And that's the one that comes with 3 in a pack. I've put that link before, but I'd be glad to do it again. Or you can just search for it. They are called the Royal Flat Wisp, and this happens to be their big kid set. And I don't know if I have the full set here. One, two. Yeah. See, there's 3 different sizes. And there again, I have a lot of rake brushes. I have a lot of, this happens to be a fan rake. that still has a lot of the separations, but there are rake brushes that are much tighter together, and some of those are much more expensive than this set. But this set tends to work really well, and so that's what I end up recommending. So there's a different clear coat sealer I should use for outdoors. I addressed, I faded, okay. Outdoors, it's either you need to give it a good 3 coats of like a polyacrylic. I'm gonna go way, way back. When I first started painting, 35 years ago, and I took a 6-week basic class. Yes, that is what I used for the gnome. You know, we didn't paint a project until like week 6. You know, you learned how to do stroke work and all that. But the rule of thumb then was you gave it 2 coats of varnish. You give it a coat of varnish, you let it dry. You give it a coat of varnish, you let it dry. You take gray paper, which is a real fine sandpaper, and sand it lightly. Use a tack cloth and remove any dust. You give it another coat of varnish, let it dry. Another coat of varnish and let it dry. Gray, paper it, and then the 5th coat. You didn't do anything without 5 coats of varnish. I don't do anything with 5 coats of varnish today. So times change a bit. But an outdoor porch cleaner, I do make sure it's got 2 to 3 coats on for sure. The turn trays that I do, I know get a lot of use, I do 3 coats on. Something like this, if I choose to varnish it, we'll give it 1 quick coat. I mean, it's going to sit on somebody's table, hang on somebody's wall. It's not going to get used a whole lot. Spar varnish, being an outdoor varnish, is great, especially if you're doing, let's just say, a sign that's got black lettering on wood. Great. If you're doing white and you're doing a lot of snowmen, stay away from spar because it can yellow. One thing I've found that does help is if you seal your wood real well first, that tends to not yellow as much. But yeah, the Amazon stuff does come pretty quickly, doesn't it? All right. And another question was still kind of on the brush side of things, and I was hoping I had one sitting over here to show you, was what happens when you have a brush that just has, no, this isn't bad, has just like 1 or 2 stray hairs. Well, first you're going to get you take care of your brushes. If you're not washing them and cleaning them well, they're not going to hold up for you. But I do understand what you're asking, because sometimes, and I'm not going to have a really good example. So, oh, you can't see it. Right here, I have this hair that's actually going this way. It doesn't belong that way. I gotta get this. And it's, what do? It's not going to want to go back up and be part of the hairs again. Can you cut them? Yes. Is there potential that it won't work? Yes. But if it's driving you nuts, trim it. I'll sometimes have brushes. This is an old flat for me. See? This is not one that I would choose to use cleaner. I will get to that in 1 second. Yes. For fine work, but this is what I'll use for base coating or whatnot. But if I had a bizarre hair, I wouldn't mind trimming that, especially since this is probably, well, it's been retired from my painting kits. I don't always throw away my brushes from my paint sets for my classes, but I just like them to be nice. Is there a special cleaner? There are all sorts of special brush cleaners. There are some that have been around for a long time. There's a brush cleaner that's kind of like a cake that's called Master's Brush Cleaner, and it's really good. It's almost too much work for me, and that's me again. This is my personal preference. I was getting very guilty of using what was ever by the sink, so probably Dawn. And I had a teacher not all that long ago ask me if I would wash my hair with Dawn dish soap, and I went, no. Just if I wash my hair with Dawn dish soap, what did I think would happen? I think, well, it would get pretty dry and brittle, and we'd probably end up with, yeah. And the fact that, hello, I color my hair. I can't imagine that it would be real kind to the chemical that are the coloring of my hair. So she turned around and said, what do you wash your hair with? I'm like, is this a trick question? I said, shampoo. And she goes, and how's your hair? I said, my hair It's pretty good. Don't judge that today, please. So I've been cleaning my brushes with shampoo. Not expensive shampoo, just shampoo. I just keep a little thing of shampoo by there, and I do clean it. Clean my brushes with it, and I must say, I feel that they've been much better. Someone loves the Masters brush cleaner. Fusion, I'm flipping over to Fusion, and we don't do a lot with Fusion in here, but Fusion is a mineral paint, so it's a little different, and they have a brush cleaner that is amazing. It really is. It's also $8 a tube, something like that. It's inexpensive. Not inexpensive, sorry. But there are a lot of cleaners out there. Pink Soap is a brush cleaner that's been around for decades. Still around. I think that's what I started with. The most brush, no, that's not true. Do most brush companies have a brush cleaner? There's quite a few of them out there, but I mean, just try a few things. But if you're looking for around the house, everyday things, I will use Awesome Cleaner on my stencils. I will not use it on my brushes. There are people, when their brushes start getting really kind of fuzzy, they will clean them really well, and then they will dip them quickly into boiling water, and that will bring the shape back to a point. I mean, there's going to hit a point where you have a brush. Can you believe I don't have a really bad brush sitting in front of me? I usually do. I'm not even sure it would bring this one back because it's pretty it's pretty open, but there it goes. All right, I hope that helped a little bit with that too. Looking here, let me pull across. Oh, the special cleaner, we got that. Yeah, can you explain what and when it is I used to use Fusion products? Fusion, like I said, is a mineral paint. And so it's a little different than our acrylic paint. It's still soap and water cleanup. The Fusion brand has almost like a self-leveling. So when I am painting furniture pieces, I find I don't have as many brush strokes. Because it has a much better self-sealer in it, I'm not having to worry about varnishing over my pieces if I'm painting a dresser that's going to be in a bedroom. I know I'm not going to have to seal the whole thing. If anything, if I thought that dresser top was going to get used a lot, I might tough coat the top. I will use Fusion White picket fence on a lot of my turn trays because again, I find it does not yellow. And when you're painting on something like pine, and that's what my turn trays are. My turn trays are just the 18-inch rounds that you can get at your local hardware stores. And pine can sometimes bleed. It's just the nature of it. It just kind of is. And there's ways around that too. I'm sitting here fidgeting and playing. I'm sorry, I should be sitting on my hands. Maybe I should have a sip of wine. It's that time, ladies. It's that time. You appreciate me and my knowledge. That's what I'm here for, guys. I'm here to share with you. I want to be able to give you projects, but I want you to be able to have the knowledge to go and do all this on your own. And just knowledge does nobody any good sitting in their head. The more you can give it to somebody else, the better the whole world is. Just my opinion, but that's yeah. I was trying to think of some other ones that I get asked a lot. A good amount of my questions end up being about brushes, about paints, the wares to get things. We all know that we can get things at the Michaels, the Hobby Lobbies, the Walmarts, the Amazons. I will tell you the one thing that I will occasionally do a tracer, and I'll give you guys links to colors. And I want you all to know that this bottle of paint, I don't care where you buy it, should not cost you more than probably $2 anywhere. So when I see bright orange pop up on a link on Amazon and it's $8, do not do that. Don't. Just find an orange, make an orange. But the links are there just sometimes more than anything else so that you can see that that's the color orange that I'm using. So don't ever feel if you've got a link, I'm just doing it so you have a reference to what that is. It is by no means the only place to get things. I like to do a lot on reclaimed wood, so of course I don't have those sources for you. But I also like to always try to give you another option. Yes, Amazon can be crazy high in some things. Some things are fine on. I had to, what did I have to get? Oh, it was actually when I had broken my leg last year, and I needed something. I think I needed varnish, and it just was one of those times that we just couldn't remember to go get it, and I just finally went to Amazon, and it wasn't bad. I mean, where a quart might cost me $8, that it cost me $9 for Amazon, and so sometimes that's okay, that's worth it. But I try to stay away from Amazon. I do, because then one thing becomes another thing, which becomes another. And there's times we have the Lazy Susans on our turn trays, and we hit a point where it was really hard to find them at our local hardware stores, and so it was a blessing that they had them. I wish I could have you and Amanda Dillon from Central across the street. You can pick Amanda's in my brain anytime. Amanda is a sweetheart. I adore Amanda. In fact, Amanda and I were chit-chatting or texting back and forth when I was sitting at the airport in Dallas on Sunday. So your Essential Stencil people chit-chat back and forth too. And all the gals at all your ambassadors at Essential Stencil are very helpful, and we all just we also make your crafting and your painting more fun. That's kind of why we're here. I've been asked, why do you do Tuesday tips, techniques, and teachings? Because I can't say it. That's why I do it. It was my thing. What can I be consistently do for? Well, I know we can always do a tip. I can show you how to do a background. We can always do a full project. We can do part of a project. And this is going to segue me, and I didn't mean it to, but here we go. And it was so funny. This popped up on my Time Hop. I don't know if any of you guys do Time Hop. That apparently I talked about this very thing. What questions do I think should be asked? What am I excited for in the near future and trends? Near future and trends. Ooh. Well, I missed getting to go to the Mark this year and last year, and that's always just a fun thing for us creatives to kind of get a feel for what's coming up. I do believe you're still going to see the continuation of the gnomes. They're not my favorite. I paint them because they sell. They do. We have a retail location as well as what I do online, and whether it's be for that purpose or the purpose that that's what you guys want to paint. So why don't I design something that's the gnome? We're seeing a lot of fruits. We're seeing, the lemons still. We're seeing the bees. I think bees are really going to see a lot more coming up. And I do like a bit of the softer colors that I'm seeing. So there's my little 2 cents in trends. I haven't done a whole lot. Do you like certain bristles better than others? I like a golden Taklon brush. That's like these. I also like Decor brushes very much. You can get them directly from Decor as well. So I know you're not going to find those in the regular stores. That set I recommend for a lot of you is this white Taklon. I will say they are a little sturdier, so they can be a little better that way. But also I want you to know this is a clean brush, okay? It does not look like a clean brush. You have certain color paints that are going to stain your brushes. You know that by the times you've had certain color paints that have ended up on your clothes or just different things, that some of them are easy to get out and some of them are hard. So yeah, this one, at least it turned a pretty magenta-y color. But that was, I think it was Prussian blue. Man, that blue did not want to come out of my brushes. So this brush has been washed, but obviously not with those colors. So that is probably my favorite. I don't like sable, just don't. I like a fairly stiff brush. It's not so it doesn't bend, but when they get really, really soft, what is the site that can change a picture into an outline? It is an app for your phone. and it is called Sketch Me. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I have it on my iPad or not. Let me look real quick so I can show it to you. And one would think my iPad would look exactly like my phone, but it doesn't. I thought I did. One sec, one sec. Let's do the simple thing. Let's search for it. At least this way we can find it and I can show it to you and you'll know what you're looking for. Let's go to search. I'll do Sketch Me. That's not the one. I will take a picture of it on my phone and stick it in here, but it's called Sketch Me. And if you don't have the little app picture, it shows like a picture of a person and the other side being sketched of it. Someone else said they like the golden tagline. Okay, let me go back to you guys. There you are. Certain bristles. What's the site? Got that? Great question. I tended for, okay. All right, I think we got them. I think we did. So you guys can always ask questions. I just thought it might be fun to try to do a little bit of this back and forth. I said I was segueing to something. I'm going to do this real quick. So I love to give you guys as much free content as I can. And I will continue to do that. That is what I was given a gift, and I believe that my purpose is to share that gift. And I have an obligation to do that. And that being said, I also have an obligation to my family to help provide. And so that is why I do some paid classes. And I had a situation in the last couple of days where I had a couple people that were a little upset with me for charging for a class. And I can completely understand that sometimes that just doesn't seem like where they need to put their funds. There is never any hard feelings. There isn't. But I just, that is, I will continue to do my Tuesday thing. I will continue to do things for you guys. I have a painting membership that is very near and dear to me, and where I want to be able to spend a lot more time with a lot more detailed things. So that, there's only one of me. And there's lots of creatives that I know you guys can all share. And I always appreciate when you take the time to watch me, or the times that we do things like that. It's always fun. We do so much of this with Facebook, and we're at their mercy. We really are. So a lot of times too, when I have a tracer, it might ask for your email for the tracer. That is only so I am building something that's mine. My email list is mine. And if Facebook goes down tomorrow, at least I have some people I can contact. There are times I have a video especially from Essential Stencil, that has 5,000 views. I don't have 5,000 people on my email list, not even close. But that is one of the ways that I kind of build that up. We can learn. Oh yes, the more we share with each other, the better the world is. And it's just, I feel good when I know when you guys come back and show me something you've done, or tell me that you've learned something from me. I mean, that's just like, okay, all right, I'm doing something right. And I kind of look up and go, thank you. Because, yes, I've spent many hours and many dollars making my craft or my painting better. But I know that my style comes from the years that I've done it, but it also comes from a little help from above. So, thank you. Like I said, I'm here to help you guys out, and I never mind answering questions. And if by some reason I don't answer you here, you can always email me, as long as it's not a technical question. Because let me tell you, I spent so much time trying to learn to be patient today. I'm not a patient person when it comes to technology. And like I said, I just got the tracer done for this little birdie and flowers. And I always go and test these things first. and it's not working. And so I know I get to call Constant Contact tomorrow. If any of you guys are great with Constant Contact, give me a call. It just was so much. Oh, oh, that's so sweet, Judy. Thank you. She says she learns a lot, whether it's free content or paid class. That makes me feel good. Oh, that's awesome. So again, I think it is almost 7 o'clock, and I think the last task for the day is a little inventory update and to put away the rest of Christmas merchandise. My Christmas stuff has all been put away, but the merchandise kind of had a little lag. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep locking up. Hopefully the replay is better than for you. I know sometimes it has to do with mine showing all my bars up, but you know, it doesn't mean it's perfect. My goodness, no. So, and if not, and you've got a question, reach out to me and I can answer the question. Hey, do you guys like this? Would you like to see this maybe once a quarter of some questions and answers? I have no idea. Like I said, this was just a last minute kind of thought process since I did a couple projects yesterday. So if you think you'd kind of like it, let me know and I'll try to put it in here and there. Hey, Thursday, I will be over on the Essential Stencil page doing a project for them. And I would love to give you a sneak peek of what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea yet. I'll figure it out. I loved getting the February projects, the stencils yesterday. And so many spring ones. And I really would like, do you keep your Christmas stock till next year or do you repurpose? That's a great question. The majority of it is kept for restock. I mark things down after Christmas. I would rather sell it than have to find a place to keep it. I have on occasion, you know, something just didn't sell, or I just kind of looked at it and went, eh. I have done a couple times where I have, you know, sanded something off, reused it, and there hits a point too. If I've seen something that's gone through a couple seasons, it might get donated. So, you know, whether yeah, so both ways. But I do try to keep some of it. I'm trying really hard to rid ourselves of some of the extra stuff in our life that we don't really need. So I kind of look at it that way. And my husband mentioned some of my painting books. I went, no, we're keeping my painting books. I mean, I have painting books that are 30 years old. I'm old, people. I'm really, really old. And it's okay. I don't care. But no, if you guys like doing this, and again, you know, you guys can give me suggestions. I don't mind at all. That's kind of why I feel like I'm here. I'm doing a really trying hard to find that good balance of time for my family and for this and everything else. I went to a wonderful mastermind over the weekend, and my mind is still just going, so much I learned and so much I need to implement. But the idea with that is that if I invest in me, to invest in the business, that I can give you a more meaningful and better experience as well. I want more of this. All right, Belinda, I'll make a point of that. I have high hopes that I will have the February schedule completely up over the weekend. I do better when I have a schedule for you guys to kind of know what's going on. I think you guys know better, at least if you know what time I'm coming on. I do a great job, thank you. How much time do I spend a day on painting? Some days, not at all. Those are not the happiest of my days. There are days that's all that I spend the entire day painting. What I like to do is I like to have some time that I have sharing creative, a lot of those times. But I like to think of those times as when I do that, whatever I'm painting, that it's something that I can utilize somewhere else. Not necessarily sell, but sometimes it ends up, you know, behind me, something cute sitting around or whatnot. I have to spend time, you know, designing projects for you guys for classes, and even those that are just, you know, for our little things like this. And I've had to learn to multitask those too. So some of those actually get recorded so that they can then be a class on YouTube at another time, or can be added on to another project. And you know, when I videotape something, there's also a time lapse that's going, and I'm trying really hard to immediately do the tracers right then and there. Someone recently told me to. Okay. Can't say anything. Okay. Whether it's the hearts comments, I missed that. The more Facebook and YouTube will compensate you with money. I'm going to become a chatty gal plus cranky. Yeah, that's kind of off to the side, but okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read and I'm not quite grasping, but I'll get it. I'll get it. And then, you know, Facebook does its own thing. I mean, I have paid reels on my personal page right now. I had never done a reel on my personal page. I do reels on this all the time. Yeah, not all. You know, all of our lives are hard to balance, but we have to. We have to make sure that we take time for our family, that we give our business or our job or whatever it is quality time. And we definitely have to make sure that you are taking care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of your business or your job, and you can't take care of your family. And all I do is for one purpose. And mine all goes back because of that sweet little boy upstairs, who's not little anymore. He's 34 years old. But, you know, that's what I do this for. That's so everything can be the best it can be for him. And I need to make sure I take care of me so I can take care of him too. So that's what it goes. Oh, thank you for the hearts. That's very, very sweet. So, and I have something in my eye. I honestly do. See, the other eye's not crying. So, hey, have a great rest of your evening. I'm not sure what the rest of the week looks like, but I said I am trying very hard to have a February schedule. I can tell you right now, I know what Tuesdays are going to be next month. They will be at 2 o'clock every Tuesday except for the 8th. There's somebody's birthday on the 8th. And so I'm going to be doing my live at 10 o'clock on the 8th so that somebody's husband can spoil her rotten for the rest of the day. He spoils me rotten all the time. So that's it for me for the night. Thank you guys for your questions. And again, feel free, and I'll try to do this. So we're doing this in January, so February, March. So we'll do it in April, if not before. Yeah. So take care of you guys. And until I see you again, hey, always be kind, stay safe. Cheers. Bye-bye.